Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mystery Theory. Today I am going to continue the Mystober series for the month of October. As always, links to these different videos will be in the description box down below and on the top of the screen, so you can check them out. Today we're going to talk about something that includes the Amber Alert, how it started a little bit as a background, and the story of Klaas. Some changes in the system, a missed opportunity. I mean, it's just a lot of information that I think is not only important as a case, but also moving forward. Okay. When pursuing a kidnapper, time is of the essence, and technology increasingly helps solve abductions. I'm gonna tell you a little story when I find it adequate. Okay, let's start with Polly. When 12-year-old Polly Klaas was kidnapped in 1993, her family distributed flyers. America's Most Wanted aired a segment about her. Neighbors formed search parties, rewards were offered, and bloodhounds and even psychics were enlisted. In the end, however, the manhunt for Polly's abductor and murderer pivoted on a simple tip from a local property owner. Sadly, police had already missed several opportunities to catch him, including one opportunity that might have saved the young girl's life. If any good can be said to have come from Polly's case, is that it inspires significant improvements in the way law enforcement investigates and apprehends kidnappers. Let me talk about this missed opportunity, which is, again, frustrating. Polly lived with her mother, Eve Nicole, in an affluent Northern California neighborhood. The night the 12-year-old was abducted, she had been hosting a slumber party for two friends. Her mom was sleeping, and while she was sleeping, a stranger broke into the house, threatened the girls with a knife, and carried Polly away. That same night, 25 miles away, police responded to a call from a landowner about a trespasser. Officers confronted the man, whose car had gotten stuck in some kind of a muddy area on the property, and recorded his name, Richard Allen Davis. Unaware of an all-points bulletin about Polly's abduction, the police concluded that Davis was not a threat, helped him free his car, and let him go. Davis was arrested again a couple of weeks later for drunk driving. But again, police failed to connect him to the kidnapping. It was only in late November, when the property owner discovered some of Polly's clothing on her land, that the police put two and two together and arrested Davis as a lifelong criminal. He confessed to the killings and is now on death row in California. This is a very frustrating case that I'm assuming that if it boils my blood to think about it, I don't know how the family felt at the time, and I wouldn't want to be in a situation like that. But again, the only good thing about this was that it inspired changes in the system. Basically, it changed how law enforcement approaches kidnapping cases. APBs are now issued on all police channels instead of just certain frequencies, as they were back then. More states have adopted strict punishments for habitual offenders like Davis. And the National Amber Alert system, which broadcasts real-time information about abducted children and through a variety of public systems, has been introduced in phases nationally. Since its inception, more than 675 children featured in Amber Alerts have been recovered. But technology also has come a long way since 1993. There are security cameras that help get footage of suspects and where they were, including a gunman who in 2014 tried to kidnap a Tennessee community college student. She managed to escape, and police were later able to identify the offender through video footage. In a number of recent cases, police have traced kidnappers through their own phone numbers, I guess, or the victim's cell phone numbers. In 2009, police apprehended a woman who had kidnapped her granddaughter in Massachusetts by using the GPS to track the missing girl's phone. But the strategy can be even simpler than that. In 2014, after a woman abducted an infant in this case, and this infant happened to be her nephew. This was in Wisconsin. Police simply call her cell phone and ask her to meet them for questioning. The woman, who was in Iowa by that time, agreed to stop, and the baby was safely recovered from a nearby gas station where she hidden him. Let's talk about the breakdown of the different kinds of kidnappings that are completely different, but they're completely different kinds of criminals. And let me explain. I also want to end this video with a real Amber, the one that inspired the Amber Alert in one of my recent experiences with the Amber Alert. There are as many kinds of kidnappings as there are criminals. So, let's explore 3 of them in their categories. Infant abduction, the taking of babies by non-family members, happens less than 10 times a year in vast majority are recovered unharmed. A typical baby napper tends to be a woman of childbearing age, is overweight to suggest that she is pregnant, and claims to be infertile or to have lost a baby. That is infant abduction. Now, ransom abduction, kidnap for money basically, are a growing problem in high crime countries such as Mexico. Perpetrators can be straight, really criminals, crooked cab drivers, or desperate locals who need the cash. A common scenario involves keeping the victim for a few days, using his ATM card, and then releasing him. Those have an economic impact, but at least most of them will be released. And then the final one, the virtual abduction. In a recently devised telephone extortion scam, a criminal gathers information about a potential victim's family using social media. He then calls the targets and pretends to be holding a family member hostage. This scheme backfires when targets realize the supposed kidnapper is not calling from the loved one's cell phone. This virtual abduction, I must add, was very popular here in Utah, I'd say 2 years ago. And we knew of this guy who was at work, and I think he was a truck driver. I can't remember, but they call him and say, "We have your daughter, and unless you deposit this X amount of money on this account in this bank, we're gonna kill her by 6 p.m. They were not giving many details, and the father, even though was scared for the daughter's life, decided to, instead of, well, they were gonna call back, so they hung up the phone, and before they call back, he asked his wife to go to the school and check on their daughter, who I think was in middle school or high school. The wife went and checked on her, and she was perfectly fine. There was an investigation to try to find whoever was doing this, but this was a case of many, at first abductor, I should say, has never been caught. And that's how it started. It's a longer story. I think there was an ASMR channel that covered her case. I think it's Soft ASMR. I remember that I listened to this case, and I'm pretty sure she was the one that covered this case. So if you want to check it out, I'll try to remember to put a link to her video down below if you want it in more detail. Now, it's been probably a month since the last Amber Alert I received on my phone. I don't know about your phone, but my phone will start. It's not even like an alarm. It's worse than that. It's loud, and if you're sleeping, you will be awake by it. And I'm pretty sure my phone was still on silent, and I got it anyways. But I got a Amber Alert about a month ago. It was about, I don't know, 11 at night, and I was already in bed. I open, the message, and says, okay, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was almost like gray, and not a gray, Gry, Toyota, Toyt, which I assume that's what it was. And that was it. There was no license plate number. No saying, okay, they abducted a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 1-year-old, a baby, a newborn. No specifics. I remember sitting on my bed. By the way, we're living in such a tiny house that when you sit on your bed, everyone knows. Started moving around, and I just couldn't go back to sleep, thinking they're gonna send another message and explain. But really, there was no other. Later on the day, we got exactly the same message. So okay, listen. There are millions of gray Toyotas here. If we don't know a license plate, at least tell me if it's a Utah license plate, because now there's a bunch of Texas license plates, California, Nevada. I've seen some from Ohio. I mean, I think that the 60% of the license plates I see in the freeway are mostly from other states. So saying, hey, it's a Utah license plate, it would have helped a little. But what do you look for when all you know it's a great Toyota? You don't know who was abducted, how old. Are you gonna stop people, or are you gonna call the police every time you see a great Toyota? There was a funny tweet the other day, about how it was the lamest Amber Alert we've ever gotten. I think it was pretty spot on. The baby was recovered. It was a baby. And it was with the biological parents. I think the parents were underage or very, very young, who wanted to keep the baby. But of course they don't give you the details. The baby was recovered. It was okay. But what I mean by that is, you always get a white 95 Jeep, but you also get a description of whoever took them, if they know, and at least how old the victim is. This one didn't give you much information, so even if you saw a gray Toyota, you couldn't do anything about it. Later on, the police explained that, I don't know, that's all they got. Well, maybe, but initially. But I'm sure they knew how old the girl was, and, at least that. Then they said that whoever was there was new on the job and didn't know how to do it, so said Sonic, and I messed up a few drinks when they ordered them, and I almost fell a couple times while I was pregnant and riding, the roller skates. But, that's a minor thing. I'll go back and change it. But I think with the Amber Alert thing, you would think that this is something that, it's not a one-person job. More like this is the information, and we just have to make sure that it gets to everyone. But we need the correct information to make the system work. So such a terrible ending for Klaas. But also the opportunity to change something began with her. And ended with Amber. In her case, that of course we all wish that never happened, but it did. And at least today we have something that helps most of the time to find these kids. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. I truly appreciate